And joining us at 8:30 a.m. is Dr. Tara Karta, former director of National Security Council Secretariat. We have David K. Johnston, who is a senior journalist. Dr. Tara Karta, you have been with NDTV for the last 4 days. So let's talk about the developments of the last 12 hours and your assessment. What has India managed to achieve through this ceasefire?
I think your biggest takeaway here is a steady selection and maintenance of aim. That has characterized this operation throughout. We'll hit terrorist camps and nothing else. Number two is very tight control from the top. You know, they are not keeping, it's very difficult. It's not the easiest thing to keep diverse army formations, air force, everything under a very, very tight control. It's almost, with the risk of sounding a little off center, it's like Krishna holding the horses. You know, it's very, very tight. That is number two. Number three is the fact that you can expect, you're dealing with that, the fact that that nuclear, when they had that nuclear SPG meeting, when they had in Pakistan, the nuclear coordination group, then it was apparent that this is going to end, because this is Pakistan's pattern of activity. They will raise it, and then they'll play the nuclear card. And then everybody jumps in and it comes to a stop. But this is the ceasefire violations. In a way, I expected it, because there are diverse commanders on the ground who've been hyped up. And as you know, in Pakistan, they're hyped up in all sorts of ways. They don't have the tight control that we do. So there will be commanders on the ground who will go at it in their own way. And number four is the most crucial point. I don't know where the Chief of Army Staff, Asim Munir, stands in all this. He has so far demonstrated no interest in stability. His own personal career, his future, his safety depends on this carrying on. And the last one is, unlike the previous Balakot, Kargil, etc., the nature of your intervention from outside has been very different, very, very different. I mean, I've just seen the State Department briefing where somebody has said that, are you questioning, asking the US State Department, are you questioning the fact that Indians hit terrorist camps at all? I mean, that's the level of lack of understanding of what is going on. Though I hugely appreciate Marco Rubio's role, hugely. I mean, he combines the Secretary of State and the NSA office together. So this is one powerful bureaucrat. And he's done his best, amazing work.
Absolutely. Mr. K, comment on that point as well. Now, although India has maintained that we've directly spoken to Pakistan, and we've always maintained we do not want a third party or a mediator when it comes to the issue of Kashmir or contentions between India and Pakistan. But US again claiming that they have played a major role in mediating between India and Pakistan for this ceasefire agreement. So now, will the US uphold Pakistan to its words for the ceasefire?
Well, the important word you just said was claim by the U.S. It's not at all clear the U.S. has played any significant role here. And if it has, it's Marco Rubio, the former senator and now Secretary of State, who would do so, because neither Donald Trump nor his vice president, J.D. Vance, has any understanding or knowledge of the issues here. Donald is appallingly ignorant about things all over the world, including this. So Pakistan, on the other hand, has for a long time been much more reliant on aid and help from other countries, and they're more in a place that they're likely to listen to the U.S. more than Delhi. So, I mean, it's not at all clear what we will see here, and I really doubt the U.S. will play a significant role in this, given that many of the most competent people to deal with this have been dismissed by the Trump administration.
David Johnston, my question would also be around the call that was made by Marco Rubio to General Asim Munir. So there is an acknowledgement in the US administration that the person in charge of Pakistan is an army general. So you have to deal with him rather than the civilian leadership. Right. So that's a departure from the past, stand of United States as well.
Right. Well, Rubio served for years on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and he has some substantial credentials in foreign policy, unlike both J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And Pakistan, from an American viewpoint, is just a nest of vipers to deal with. And the military is, of course, who you would deal with rather than the civilian leadership based on the history of Pakistan, certainly over the last 40 years.
Right, Maria, I think now another big question is, will Pakistan take the issue of terrorism on its soil seriously now? Because before the ceasefire agreement as well, we'd seen one of the strongest messages to Pakistan that India had put out, saying that any act of future terrorism would be considered an act of war. So now Pakistan, I think it's time, takes the issue of terrorism seriously.
Yes, absolutely. And Dr. Tarakarta would perhaps elaborate on that. India has put Pakistan firmly on notice, Dr. Tarakarta. And as you were saying, that in the State Department of US as well, there was a lot of, curiosity and also about how India carried out Operation Sindoor and released it to the world, the video evidence as well. So Operation Sindoor first, and then those, strikes on 5 military bases, which were considered to be air bases, I would say, inside Pakistan. These are messages which perhaps the Pakistanis understood quite well, that you are dealing with a nation which has a very, very defined and perhaps a new security doctrine under Prime Minister Modi.
I think it was also, that nationwide civil defense exercises, that also sent a message that, listen, we are prepared for the long haul. You want to go for all-out war? We are ready. And, I just want to say here a small thing, if you'll permit me, is that I was talking to a taxi driver and he says, Madam, enough. We are ready. This is enough is enough. Pakistan has troubled us for so many years. If they want war, we are willing to fight. I mean, that is the level of anger with Pakistan. And that is what the Prime Minister is politically one of the most astute persons. He sensed this, that the country has had enough. Plus, the only thing is, I would not assume, my expectation is that there will be a terrorist strike. Because this Lashkar and Jaish and everybody are not going to take this lying down. Sections of the ISI are not going to take it lying down, because there's no way they can do it on their own. It's impossible. No major terrorist attack can be conducted without state backing. So in this, if you remember, after Parakram was Kaluchak, one of the worst attacks we've had. So you have to be extremely vigilant. I will expect a terrorist attack from those forces in Pakistan who don't want a ceasefire. The very fact that you said that if there's a terrorist attack, we reserve the right to go back in. That's what they want.
But Dr. Tarakarta, then what about General Munir and also the DGISPR, both given what they are and their background, don't you think that they would have taken the terror groups on board before arriving at a decision of a ceasefire?
No, that's not how it works. If there is a ceasefire, it would have been negotiated at the very top levels. Then it starts filtering downwards. It's a kind of a telling these guys, if they have the capability to tell them, shut up and sit down. We've seen, for example, like the Jamaat-e-Islami head, he summoned the military headquarters. Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish, they dare not oppose these guys. My fear is this Asim Munir and crowd, who have done all this in the past, imprisoning Imran Khan, imprisoning army officers, imprisoning Faiz Hamid. I'm not saying Faiz Hamid was some great shot, but he's a very curious guy. He's got the ability to wait it out and take the decision at a certain ruthlessness. He's absolutely ruthless, he and his crowd. So to ensure their own survival,
right,
they might take this option. That's all I'm saying.
Right. On that point, Mr. Johnston, yes, there are international forces that have been pushing for de-escalation, and India and Pakistan themselves saying that we're ready for discussions unless the other side provokes. But there are also at the same time parties that do not want this ceasefire to work, be it international or within Pakistan as well. So do you think then this ceasefire agreement would survive those attempts as well?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know whether it will or not. I don't think that the attack in April, which killed 22 Indians is necessarily provoked by the Pakistani government. We're not talking about the kind of very large operation you saw on October 7th a year ago by Hamas against Israelis. This is only 22 people died, not more than 1,000. And so it may or may not have been done with the formal or tacit approval of the Pakistani military or elements in the civilian government. But given that both countries have nuclear weapons, one would expect a lot of pressure from other parties, China, Middle Eastern countries that have a lot of connections with both Pakistan and India, to try and tamp this down. On the other hand, this skirmishes have been going on now for 75 years. And at some point, there's going to need to be a resolution of this. One hopes it doesn't have to be a bloody resolution.
Thank you, Dr. Tarakarta and Mr. David K. Johnston for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this development.